Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. So this is going to be a bit of a talking video of what I think is probably one of the most important 99s for your account, and probably one I would move into doing as soon as possible because of what benefits it sheerly brings to your account. So this is by far my favourite skill in the game, and this is Slayer. So 99 Slayer now has a great reap of benefits to your account, even more than it used to back in the day. Back in the day, it was just sheerly probably the best moneymaker in the game. Once you access your things like whips, we all know the story. Whips and dart bows used to be so much profit and money. Whereas now, it offers a different perspective, and Slayer definitely has changed over the years. And the way Slayer's changed, obviously the Smoke and Kills quest and the ability to change and skip tasks is pretty big. But the ability to have Slayer masks now as well, and with the bonus XP coming up very soon, you have the ability to buy the complete Slayer mask collection if you already don't have it. Now this is a great way to build points, force tasks if you have a task which is preferable. For me, out of the Slayer masks, Dagonoths, Abyssal Demons, Dark Beasts, Ice Strike Worms, Ganodermics are massive tasks, easy points, and nice in AFK as well. So it's changed where you can kind of manipulate a lot of these Slayer tasks now, especially with like the rotations you can do on your masks. Slayer skipping tickets now are a lot more readily available. You don't have to do the Cabbage Punch game. Things like events and weekly rewards will give you some Slayer VIP tickets, and you'll be able to pick them up over time as well. Not to mention as well that the 120 Slayer Cape, that's a little bit further than where we're going to go with this, does give you the ability as well to also have a chance of picking your own Slayer task. But that's 120. The main point of this video was 99. Why is 99 so good for Slayer? So the base of it is you can train all your stats. It is a massive thing. You can train all your combat stats, including Necromancy with Slayer, and you're sort of killing two birds at once. It's it's not bad because I fully respect people who do it, but having 99 in your combats and level 45 Slayer, you're just going to have to train your combats again, which, don't get me wrong, you'll need to max combats anyway, but it's always a fantastic way to do alongside training Slayer is also leveling up your combats. So not only can you level up all your combats to make it easier for you to get into PVM or higher tier Slayer, but it's also going to do things like drop a substantial amount of charms. All of these Slayer monsters really do give you decent charms, and from 99 Slayer you should expect 99, maybe 96 summoning, which will unlock a raft of different familiars, which will bring an edge to your gameplay and an upgrade to your gameplay as well. Familiars, maybe not as important as they were a couple years ago, but they still have a relatively important part, and it depends on your gameplay as well. Some people really still prioritize the Yak as their favourite familiar. For me, I still use a Bunyip for probably 80% of my Slayer, just because it provides healing and more AFK-ness for my style of play. And not only that, it will provide a huge amount of GP into your account. Now, the Spring Cleaner really has revolutionized Slayer, because any sort of AUK which you would have picked up back in the day can automatically get disassembled or out, and when it's out, it's just thrown straight into your coin pouch. Now, you kind of either have to get lucky to get the Spring Cleaner, whether you get it on Treasure Hunt or you get it through Invention, but the Spring Cleaner is there and is still a very huge upgrade if you can get it. Invention as well, similar to Summoning, is something which can be trained while doing Slayer as well. And a very high Invention level is a necessity for endgame PVM. Without this, you just won't be able to have the DPS increase, but using Slayer to train it, training your armors as well as your combat stats, is what links everything together. Slayer links all the combat stats, Summoning, and Invention together, and as well as some other stuff. And it's just essential to do it as well. Now, I've kind of made a little bit of a mistake with my two previous accounts. I've sort of done all the skilling side before Slayer, and because of that, they have struggled with the GP side until I've got to higher skill levels or found money-making methods where I've really provided the GP quite quick. But Slayer really does stand out as well. And that's basically the two ways you can go with your account, in my opinion. You can go combat in Slayer, or you can go down the skilling side. Whichever is your preference, and don't get me wrong, some people hate Slayer, and I fully expect that. I hate a lot of the skills as well, but for me, it is by far the best. And like nowadays as well, the range of Slayer monsters and Slayer content and Slayer things you can do is so much bigger than it used to be. It is really nice, and one thing I am massively looking forward to, which I hope you guys are as well, is when we eventually do get to like the Slayer bit on the noob account and the Slayer series I want to do, we're going to be having some decent content, and I'm really looking forward to it as well, because I think it'll be very good to show you how much Slayer has changed compared to the old school style of Slayer, where it was very different. There's so much more mid-level monsters and mid-level content, which I think will be really nice to see as well. Just have to do quite a bit of questing first, just to make sure we have enough to have the full exposure of the Slayer monster side. But also, so one of the points we were talking about as well, so not only does it provide combat stats, summoning charms, the ability to do invention, and a massive stack of profit as well. You will make so much money from Slayer because it's sort of setting you off to kill these monsters which have all these drops and do provide all the money from it as well. At 99 Slayer, you unlock possibly one of the best updates in the game, and we're going to pay a little visit to go and see it now, and that is the Personal Slayer Dungeon. Now, because of the release of Necromancy, you probably heard about the Personal Slayer Dungeon a lot more than what it was probably said before. But what the Personal Slayer Dungeon allows is for you to have 4 rooms where you can put the souls of certain Slayer monsters into your own Personal Slayer Dungeon. Now, the huge benefit of this is, not only does it mean that no one's going to come crash, not that that's really a problem nowadays, or affect your Slayer training, but it means that these monsters can also be fully AFK with the use of an aggression potion. So here, for me, again, using it for my Necromancer training, I have Abyssal Beasts, I have another form of monster here, and there's only 3 rooms, so you do have to be quite particular with the 3 monsters you have, but there's numerous guides on the YouTube side, and to be fair, I will get to doing it at some point as well, about your Personal Slayer Dungeon and what monsters you can put in here to utilise it best. Now for me, having Abyssal Beasts here is great because it's AFK Necromancy XP, and not only AFK Necromancy XP, it's something like 600k Necromancy XP an hour. You can have things like Tormented Demons here, you could have Spiritual Warriors if you want to camp Zami and Sora components. It's a good way to farm them, it's just to have them in your Personal Slayer Dungeon, and then you just take the effects of their environment around you, and that's what the Personal Slayer Dungeon is really good. It takes the effects of the environment of where you kill that monster away from them, and you just kill them in a normal room here as well. So people have used this for massive benefits to AFK things like Ripper Demons, Tormented Demons, loads of monsters, and 99 Slayer, it gives you the ability to get this. Don't get me wrong, you still need to get the souls, which can be a little bit annoying at times, but to have this as your own way of doing Slayer, it's pretty huge. And not only that as well, if you can link this to something you have a mask for, so for me, I have an Abyssal Demon mask, I could force Abyssal Beasts every day. And I could just come here, AFK for an hour, and that's just easy XP. And Slayer now is so unique and different to probably like the old school version. I love old school Slayer, it's my favourite skill on old school as well. But like all these different monsters which old school doesn't have, like it's so diverse now, and I'm hoping that through the next couple of weeks we can like massively catch up on our Bond account stuff, and I can move into doing Slayer soon. Because I think I'm about ready to do it. Now, I have got a lot to do on that account in terms of quests, but I think the Slayer content will be something massive and just reignite my interest for it, because I'm sort of sat there like, I want to do it, but I need to sort of do some other stuff ready for it as well, because I don't want to be moving past Slayer. It's quicker now as well, the XP rates are so much more up. I don't want to fly past a certain milestone without having full exposure to all the tasks around as well. But really, one of the oldest, most classical, but still so good skills to train. I would highly recommend, if you don't have the Slayer level, or if you're not even 120 now, 120, this cape changes the game completely. So many Slayer tasks are linked to PVM monsters, where you can have a boost from your Slayer helm, and it just makes things like learning it a little bit easier as well. And the fact you can force your task at certain points just makes it so easy. Like, for the majority of my Slayer, I camped Edemus. I think I've done a video about it. I killed something like 50,000 Edemus. Made a huge amount of GP. The only way I was able to do it was from using the Slayer Mask Cape, but also using the Slayer Masks as well. By building my points up with Slayer Masks, I was able just to abuse the cape and just constantly skip until I got Edemus, which is how I basically just kept doing them and made so much profit. Slayer's probably made this account the best part of 10 bill easy over the years, and that's what's basically allowed me to do stuff like PVM and all the other stuff, is just by training Slayer. So I know we did a video about like how I thought Divination was the best like raw collecting skill in the game. This is my version of the Slayer components, because Slayer is just the best. It's just the best in my opinion. And like, I know a lot of people are new with Necromancy and are training Necromancy. I would highly recommend while training Necromancy, if you want some variety to your training. AFKing is good. Having a bit of variety of where you go and train, and possibly go and try and kill some new monsters. Probably make a little bit of money on the side as well. link it with Slayer. I promise you won't regret it as well, because it will provide so much. And if you're a brand new account as well and you're looking to train your stats over time, want a bit of variety, want to get charms for summoning, and want to eventually like train invention as well, I promise you Slayer is definitely the way to go. So let me know what you think. Do you think Slayer is overvalued or undervalued in today's RuneScape 3 sort of community? I still think there's more to it. I still think there's more they can do with it. And even if they brought future updates in the game, even though I'm 200 mil, I would still train it because it's still my favourite skill to do occasionally as well. It's my go-to if I ever need a GP. I just go and do a couple Slayer tasks and I'll end up building some form of cash stack up as well. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.